Hi, thanks for joining me today. Is your stepchild managing to split you and your partner? Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. Well, children all over the world, everywhere, split their parents when they can. And when you are a step-parent with your partner, it can feel very damaging because you can feel as though they're ganging up against you. For children, it can be a bit of a sport. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But if they manage to split their parents, they may get something more of what they want. They get a bit of favouritism from one when the other one has said no. And the odds are worth it. I mean, they might as well give it a go. Parents can find this is a real problem. So it is a real problem for step-parents and their partners. Because with it comes the dynamic of, well, my partner and should be supporting us in this house with the stepchild. It can feel very wounding when your partner doesn't support you in something that you've asked for from your stepchild or asked for it to happen a particular way, and your partner undermines you, or that the child will start an argument between you and revel in it and then watch what happens, and rather you enjoy splitting you and putting you at odds with one another. So it can be particularly distressing as the step-parent in this situation. But what can you do about it? Well, you absolutely don't want your stepchild to be able to split you. But what I would suggest is that when it happens, you can always put up with something once, especially if you use that occasion to plan out what you're going to do differently next time. Very rarely in families do things just happen once, and if they do, they're not so much of a problem. But if they've happened once, it usually is just a matter of time before a child will try it again. And so my recommendation is to not rise to the split when it happens. You just put your hands up in the air and say, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, let it happen. And take a backward step without an argument in front of the child. Now, it can depend a little bit on what this is, and it is difficult to step back in situations like this, especially if you've said something. But the child won't notice it that much if you don't have an argument with your partner about it in front of them. It is best not to show the child that they've split you in front of the child. And then, when you've had a time to think about it and away from the situation, and when you have a moment with your partner, bring it up again and discuss it. You need to decide that when this happens again, what the plan is here, what your policy is going to be, what is and what isn't allowed, in whatever detail you need to talk about it, so that the next time you're prepared and one can back the other. I would also say it is possible and desirable, especially if the thing is quite a big thing, is to have a discussion before it's likely to happen again, so the child knows what's expected and won't even try to split you again. So you can say that we've decided that when this happens, this is going to happen. So just so you know, so the child knows that when this is going on, This is what's expected of them. Now, there is a situation where your partner may not back you. You might have that discussion away from the child and your partner says, well, it's not that bad, or it's not that big a deal, or I don't see what the problem is with that, or they're only 5.5. I think they should be allowed to do X, Y, or Z. Now, unlike when you're the other parent to this child, you then don't, in this situation, have the authority to insist on something if your partner, the parent, disagrees with it. So then you're in the situation of allowing your partner to make parenting decisions about parenting their child, but it is very important you remove yourself from the triangle so that you don't get triangulated in this situation, and let the parent parent their child and take the consequences. So if they decide to allow something, there'll be a consequence to that. And you just step away and let the parent parent their child the way they want to. But don't rescue them when things go wrong. So they take the full brunt of the consequences of their parenting decisions as well. Only then may they come back to you later and say, I'm having difficulty because the child isn't behaving, or this is going wrong. And you can say, well, we can do it together, but I think that this is what needs to happen, and we both need to insist on it. But basically take yourself out of the triangle by absolutely not arguing with your partner about issues in front of the child. If the issue is really important and you are not in a position to say, it's your role, it's your parenting, you do what you want, but don't expect my support if that's what you want to do. If you're not in a position to do that, and it's what's happening, you really can't allow, then it's one of your red lines, and you need to say it. You need to say, this can't happen. I'm not going to allow something to go on in my home that is being allowed by you, by the stepchild. And then you have to have a really big argument with your partner about it. I mean, is this a make or break situation? Or where's the compromise? Where can you come to a negotiated agreement on what could and couldn't happen in this situation? If it's a red line, you need to hold out for it and negotiate a settlement with your partner, or you just let it go and let your partner parent the child, or you agree with the parent behind closed doors what is going to happen, and one can support the other in managing the child. Those are your 3 options. We run workshops, sessions, an email response service, and we write booklets. Look in the description box below for links to our social media and website.